Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Superman and Lois Season 3, and this is going to be my review for episode 10 for the season, the fourth last episode, otherwise entitled Collision Course, but of course, spoiler alert, for everything that happens in this episode, especially something towards the end, which, to be honest, going into the episode, I didn't think was going to be the case. It sort of caught me off guard, but yeah, if you've not watched the episode, go away. But if you have watched the episode, let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on this episode, what you love, what you hate, overall thoughts on the episode, everything like that. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, you're going to enjoy the video and you enjoy the episode, want to drop a like on the video. Takes 2 seconds. So last episode, we had some flashbacks sort of attached to Lois's concern about the next step in her recovery, which was a mastectomy following her chemotherapy treatment, which was coming to a close, and just some insecurities and worries about herself and just also her relationship with Clark going forward and everything like that. And I personally thought this episode was the best episode this season in regards to a quality standpoint, acting, directing, writing, everything like that. I thought it was pretty much a 10 out of 10. But also, right at the end of the episode, we did have Bizarro revealed to Mateo by Bruno, and that Bizarro was the next step in the plan to cure PR and, make her whole again. But overall, this episode, I think was one of those like a bridging episode of sorts. It sort of dealt with last week and then sort of set up some stuff going forward. I didn't think it was it wasn't as good as last week's episode, but I thought it was solid. It was a bit of filler stuff in there. There's some stuff with Lana, which I think is mostly filler. There's nothing really overly relevant. You could take out of the episode, doesn't really change it. But I think that was probably the only thing where I was like, okay, that doesn't really matter. So I think most of it was somewhat relevant for this season and the story that they're telling. It just wasn't amazing like previous episodes, but I thought it was still solid. It's pretty rare you get a bad episode of Superman and Lois. I think we've maybe had one, which was in season 2. So yeah, it's pretty rare you get one. So this is another solid episode. Just wasn't amazing like some other iterations or previous episodes we've had before. But yeah, as I said, the one thing that happened pretty much with a couple minutes to go in this episode, I wasn't expecting going into the episode. So that definitely caught me off guard. But in regards to the breakdown, we actually do start the episode off with Lois, finally, I guess you could say, finishing her chemotherapy and ringing the bell. Now, obviously, the cancer storyline throughout the season has been a big part, and also, for some people, has dragged down, not necessarily the quality, because the quality is always there, but I guess it's the enjoyment and excitement level going into an episode, especially if you've gone through some stuff yourself or with a family member or whatever it might be, or just don't like that in a show. Now, it seems like that's come to an end. Obviously, there's the stuff we addressed last week, which I guess might come at the end of the season. I'm not too sure. But I guess in regards to being at the hospital and seeing Lois like this, I'd assume that's come to an end this episode, considering they wrap up the chemotherapy side of things. But that's a wait and see. But it's not like you see anything later in the episode which suggests Lois is getting worse off or anything like that. So, maybe that's the right thing to do, seeing that we're heading into the climax of the season. So I think people that were sort of not enjoying it or sort of hitting them in the wrong areas or whatever it might be would sort of be glad that sort of comes to a wrap up. But in regards to Lois, she's setting up for more research into Bruno and Pierre's past escapades, if you want to put it, and tying into what went down with Lex Luthor, with their articles and coverage from the past being brought out again, and just trying to get Pierre's side of the story, which can in turn reveal exactly what happened on that day when Boss Moxie and all those people were killed. And of course, that's what Lex Luthor was charged with and sent to prison for, almost 2 decades ago now. Now, one thing going into the season I was hoping to see more was journalism, and we had a decent amount of it, but not to the extent that I thought it would be. So I think we might get, and you'd have to think so, especially if that truth's going to come out, unless it comes out in another way where it's just well, look what they're doing. And then they go through crime scenes. If Pia uses her powers again, in episodes to come, they can go, well, hold on, that's exactly what happened on that night, everything like that. So that might be how they tie it up, rather than PR revealing the truth and Lois getting an article and stuff like that. So that's a wait and see, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Now, Kyle does show Chrissy some crime scene photos from the fire, or incident photos, I guess you'd word them, I'm not too sure. Crime scene, incident photos, I guess they're both the same thing. From the fire from, not the last episode, I think it was the episode before, so a couple of episodes ago. And Kyle wants to find out who is this mysterious powered person who appears to be living in Smallville. Now, of course, Chrissy knows that Clark is Superman, but Kyle does not. So Chrissy doesn't want to play a part in this and open the door to potentially exposing the cancer, specifically Clark. Now, we know it wasn't Superman that did that specific thing in the sports shop, I think it was a couple of episodes ago, that was Jordan. However, he also references the town hall fire from last year, I think it was last season, and I think that was Clark who used his ice breath. I think it was. From memory, at the very least, I think it was him that did that. Or was that season 1? I can't remember which season it was. Kyle references I think when something happened in town hall in a previous year, and I think that was Superman. But then again, it might have also been Jordan as well. I can't remember, but yeah, one might have been Clark, and then the other one was Jordan. But yeah, it does Chrissy in her head is thinking that it's Clark, so she definitely doesn't want to expose that. Now, speaking of Jordan, and also to the side, Jonathan, they set up plans for whatever Clark wants to do while Lois is away. A bit of a father-son bonding sort of thing. But they end up making their own plans, which leads them to a party where Jordan creates a situation so awkward, I actually had to look away from the screen while he was getting in the way of Sarah and the former mayor's son. I was like, this is so cringy. Like, shut up, Jordan. What are you doing? It was so weird. But Jordan and Sarah do get into a minor, verbal back and forth about their friendship post their relationship, and it's just a bit, Sarah's fed up with Jordan to an extent because of how he's acting. Now, cops do drop on the party, or a cop drop on the party, whichever way you want to put it, and Sarah does get into a major car crash, but is luckily saved by Jordan. Now, the former mayor's son is there as well, but yeah, Jordan saves them both, and it would have killed them. They went flipped everything like that, and they went roof first into the trailer. They would have been crushed. 100% dead. If they survived, they would have buy a lottery ticket because you'd definitely win based off your luck there. But straight after that, we do actually have Lois going to talk to Pia in the DOD in order to get her words rather than the words from other avenues and other people. Now, once they start, Pia just lies almost immediately when she states that Lex Luthor killed Box Moxie, when we know that isn't the case, and Lois knows that as well. And though Pia is lying, she does have a point when it comes to Lex Luthor. Though he did not commit the crimes he was charged with and chucked into prison for, he did get away with a bunch more and deserved to be in prison because of his actions. And what Lois is, doing could lead to him getting out. And just imagine what he would be like right now after being locked up for almost 2 decades. I mean, you wouldn't want to cross paths or make enemies with him. And I guess for Lois, she'd be thinking, well, hold on, I'm already an enemy. Do I really want to let this guy out? It's like seeing a tiger in a cage and going, oh, that's nice, and just opening the door and letting them attack you. You don't want to do that, do you? But Lois has some ethics and morals around her journalism, and she wants to make sure that the truth is properly out there. Now, Kyle does show up to the scene of the car crash and is not happy, but the former mayor's son does say that someone saved them and then flew away, which of course does tie into what Kyle has been looking into, but Sarah doesn't back him up because she knows that it's Jordan. And I think this, at the time, at the very least, I was like, I think this is going to lead into everyone that knows sort of gaslighting Kyle into thinking that he's going crazy or something by not going along with this, along with these research and theories and everything like that. And that gets added onto when Kyle brings Sarah to Lana, and Lana doesn't go along with what Kyle is proposing either, and he gets triggered. Of course, Lana knows that Clark is Superman. So at that point, I was like, is this going to go on for episodes or something like that? And I mean, going into the last couple of minutes, I thought, yeah, that's going to be the case. But, we get something at the end. We'll touch upon that when we get there. But, yeah, if I was Kyle, I'd be sort of annoyed. I was like, these people know something, and they are not letting me know anything. What the hell is going on? Why is everyone so secretive and just completely dismissive of my theory here? Now, we did get that Clark and Jordan confrontation, which, I think that was just more a bit of, realism, sometimes kids don't want to spend time with their parents, or sons don't want to spend time with their dads, or whatever it might be. Maybe this is just a sign to hang out with your dad. I'm not too sure. But that, yeah, I think everyone's been through that. Sometimes you just want to hang out and do your own thing instead of doing something that your dad wants to do, whether it's golf or, I don't know, going to the warehouse shop. I don't know, something like that. You just want to do your own thing. Now, Mateo is brought to Pia after Lois tries to convince her one final time to go along with revealing the truth, so there is nothing more that's being swept under the rug. However, due to what Bruno has shown him, Mateo is now a part of their plan, and he's sort of made his allegiance there. And Mateo does sneak in some formula to power up Pia again, and uses Lois to escape, with Pia going on to cause quite a bit of chaos in the DOD. However, at the exact same time this is going on, Kyle arrives at the Ken house and accuses Jonathan, not Jordan, but Jonathan, of having powers. And due to him needing to go, Clark just flies off in front of Kyle and says he'll explain it to him later. So now Kyle knows that Clark is Superman, but unfortunately he's gonna have to wait a while. He's there just left stunned, and we don't see anything with Kyle after this point. So I'm very interested to see what he's like next week when he meets Clark for the next time and stuff like that. That'll be very interesting. But also, I think Clark isn't going to reveal that Jordan has powers. I think he's going to keep that to himself. He's just like, hey, I'm the one doing it. I don't think he's going to want to expose Jordan like that. It'll be very interesting because, sure, Kyle knows that Clark is Superman, but Kyle, I guess, now is just going to assume that Clark was the one that did that stuff in the sports store a couple of episodes ago, not Jordan. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But unfortunately for Clark, by the time he arrives at the DoD as Superman, Pia has escaped. So there's just a lot of carnage left behind. And yeah, he doesn't know where exactly she's gone. But speaking of Pia, she does arrive back at the subway station lab where Bruno and Matteo are waiting, but also where Bizarro's body is also waiting, where we know he's a part of the plan going forward. So what they do from this point forward is going to be very intriguing. I do wonder if the Bizarro experiment backfires. And also we know that like what they gave Pia was just enough like power and energy and stuff to get her out of that situation. She's still sick. So that's a big thing that's going to be still going to have to be focused on. She's not magically cured because of what Matteo did then. She's still very sick. So they're going to have to get that Bizarro procedure going along pretty quickly. But whether it works or not, that's another question. That's a wait and see. But yeah, as I said, overall, I thought this episode was a solid one. It was another solid episode. I think it pushed enough stuff forward that it needed to. It also created, like, I guess, left, you know, at least it brought Kyle into the knowledge family, if you want to put it. He's not in the dark anymore, at least in regards to Clark being Superman. Now, whether that affects any sort of relationship he has, that's another question. And also because, you know, I wonder if Kyle goes to like Lana and goes, oh my God, Clark's Superman. Does he think has to keep that secret? Like, will Lana say, yeah, I already knew he was Superman or something like that? That's a wait and see, of course. But yeah, now at least Kyle doesn't have to be like, I thought he was going to be stuck in a couple of episodes of just being like told you're wrong and he's going to go crazy and everything like that. But at least he's let off the leash pretty early on into his theory journey, if you want to put it. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like when it shows support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts and everything we went over this video and your thoughts on the episode. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.